Okay, good afternoon, everyone. That's a little louder than I thought it would be. Thank you, Governor Ducey, for your partnership in this incredible effort, and huge thanks to Dr. Christ, Mr. Siscomani, and all of our Southern Arizona partners, particularly the county and Mayor Romero and the city. We're incredibly proud to serve in this role for Southern Arizona and the entire state. As Arizona's land-grant university, this service aligns directly with our mission, and the state and county have been tremendous partners in this effort. We're excited vaccination appointments are now available to everyone 16 years and older, so thank you very much for that, Governor. This is the right time, in my opinion, to take this step. As of Monday morning, the Arizona Department of Health Services estimated that 72.5% of 65 and older individuals in Pima County have received at least one dose of the vaccine, and 38.4% of individuals in the 55 to 64 age bracket have received at least one dose. Mess that up. More than 400,000 total doses have been administered. We have the capacity to ramp up this shift in eligibility. As of this morning, 86,000 vaccine doses have been distributed right outside on the university pod here at the University of Arizona. We've now reached 3,000 doses per day, and we can reach 4,000 daily doses next week if the supply of vaccine is available. We will continue on serving the entire community with equity and access as priorities. 21% of people coming to our pod here at the university have self-identified as Hispanic or Latinx. This is compared to 15.3% countywide and 9.3% statewide. As a Hispanic serving institution, it's important to us that we meet the need for this part of our community. And we're proud to offer both drive-up and sit-down clinics so that those using public transportation can be served here. And Governor Ducey got his second dose in our sit-down walk-in clinic today. We're excited to begin vaccinating our students. In a recent survey, 82% responded that they would receive the vaccine. We can provide this service thanks to amazing leaders and staff and the many, many thousands of volunteers. It was raining last night. There are volunteers who come out to give selflessly to our community. Many of our broader Southern Arizona community has benefited from this pod, and thank you, Governor, and Dr. Christ for making this a state pod. I just want to reemphasize how important it's been for our employees, our faculty, and our staff to really rally behind this effort and dedicate so much of their time to it. Appointments are released every Friday for the following week. Registration is through the state website, podvaccine.azdhs.gov, or if you're having trouble with a computer system or don't have access to a computer, you can call 602-542-1000. Again, Governor Ducey, thank you so much for being here today and all the support you've given the University of Arizona and Southern Arizona. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Robbins. I want to say thank you to Dr. Robbins and safe travels as well, and good luck to the Lady Wildcats tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I'm joined by Dr. Cara Christ, who is, of course, the Director of the Department of Health Services. I want to thank her for being here today. I also want to thank Dr. Richard Carmona for being here. We just were able to take a great tour of the University of Arizona. We were able to see what's happening at the pod. We were able to meet with the scientists that consult with Dr. Carmona and Dr. Robbins, and I was able to meet with business leaders here from around Southern Arizona as well. And I just have to tell you, I've been blown away by everything that's happening here in this part of the state. The volunteers, the healthcare professionals, the University of Arizona staff, they're all working tirelessly to distribute this vaccine to thousands of Arizonans. Because of their efforts, we've been able to distribute over 85,000 doses of this vaccine right here at the University of Arizona. I also just received an additional briefing from the U of A community led by President Dr. Bobby Robbins on the progress that they're making to combat COVID-19 in Arizona. It's clear to me that we're headed in the right direction. And I again want to thank Dr. Robbins for his leadership, the quality of his team, and the commitment of everyone on the University of Arizona's campus for what they've done to help Tucson, to help Pima County, all of Southern Arizona, and our entire state to weather this storm. Dr. Robbins has always been an invaluable partner to me and my team, and he's gone above and beyond this year as we've navigated through our challenges. Early on, Bobby and his team adjusted their curriculum to create an effective distance learning infrastructure so that our students wouldn't fall behind. Then they developed an advanced COVID-19 antibody test, which gave us an additional tool to combat the virus. And of course, most recently, Bobby and his team converted their vaccine pod into Arizona's third state-run mass vaccination site. Because of his efforts and because of their efforts and the efforts of countless university faculty, local healthcare workers, and volunteers, we've distributed more than 470,000 doses of vaccine right here in Pima County. And we continue to ramp up distribution every week. Starting today, any Arizonan aged 16 and older will be eligible for a COVID-19 vaccine here at our University of Arizona site. We're optimistic that this will help us protect thousands of Arizonans and we'll be able to return to life as it should be. Now, before I hand it off to Dr. Christ, I also want to say that statewide, we're going to hit the 3 million vaccination number today in Arizona. So whether it's Southern Arizona, Maricopa County, or our rural areas, we are getting uptake on this vaccine. It's safe, it's effective, and it's free. And I want to encourage all Arizonans to get this vaccine. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Christ to give us an update from the Department of Health Services. Doctor?
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Dr. Robbins. Good afternoon, everyone. As a proud graduate of the University of Arizona College of Medicine, it's always a pleasure to return to Tucson and to this campus. And my pride is even greater when I see all that this vaccination site continues to accomplish for the people of Southern Arizona. This is an exciting week for Arizona as we expand vaccination at this and other state sites to everyone 16 and older. What we would caution everybody, make sure that if you have a 16 or a 17-year-old that you are looking for the Pfizer vaccine because Moderna and Johnson & Johnson are only approved to 18. So state-run sites that are offering the Pfizer vaccine, you are eligible if you are 16 or 17. We saw great demand this morning when we opened up a limited number of appointments available for the rest of this week. As I'm sure a lot of you heard, over the weekend we had a large number of unfilled appointments that were still remaining after our Friday load. We expect this demand that we had today, because we increased the population that was eligible, to continue this Friday and every Friday after, as more and more appointments are available and as we get more and more vaccine from our federal partners. The University of Arizona site demonstrates Arizona's readiness to administer more vaccines when it is available from the federal government. The 3,000 doses administered here on average each day can be doubled with more vaccine, like many of our other vaccination sites statewide. We are ready to put this significant untapped capacity to use for the people of Southern Arizona. We also look forward to the opening of the Yuma vaccination site, which is in partnership with Yuma County, the Yuma County Health Department, Yuma County Regional Hospital, as well as the state. That will open on Monday, which is going to add additional capacity to southern and rural parts of the state. Between its drive-in and walk-up operations, the University of Arizona pod has administered over 65,000 doses as a state site. We look forward to seeing what it'll achieve in the coming weeks ahead as we get more vaccine through the month of April. So thank you, everybody.
We'll open it up to questions. Thank you, Dr. Christ. I want to thank you for your partnership and your leadership. I again want to thank Dr. Robbins and Dr. Richard Carmona and their entire team for helping Arizona overcome these challenges. And without you, we wouldn't have been able to navigate this crisis the way that we have. So I again want to say thank you very much. And with that, we'll open it up to questions. CJ?
Governor, on the FEMA issue, and please look towards my camera when you talk. On the FEMA issue, FEMA has made it clear to Pima County that it's not a drain on state vaccine supplies, state resources. The state would maintain oversight. So they're perplexed and rather puzzled as to why the state wouldn't just make the formal request that would unlock the ability to run that FEMA site and get more vaccine to their underserved areas. What can you tell me on that?
Well, first, I want to say in terms of a focus on underserved areas, make no mistake, that's our state's priority. I believe by the national measurement on that, Arizona's in second place in the distribution of the vaccine to our underserved or minority communities. And this decision was basically one made in collaboration with Dr. Christ of what we want to do is get the vaccine out. What we've asked for from the federal government is supply. What the federal government tells us that they are capable of distributing from this potential federal site are 6,000 doses. What we are capable of at the state level is 60,000 doses. So our objective is to get the vaccine out faster and to more Arizonans. We can do that with our existing infrastructure. What we need is inventory. Anything else?
I mean, we are hearing that much greater amounts of inventory would come down through this FEMA.
That's not true. That's not true. Well, it would be less than 10% of what the state is already capable of distributing. We want all the help that we can get, but in terms of the mass vaccination sites, I mean, Arizona Cardinals Stadium was the first 24/7 site in the country. President Biden and President Harris themselves came and did a virtual tour and said that it was a model for other states, and now every NFL stadium in the country is scrambling to accomplish that. And even with that having had happened well over a month ago, Arizona's distributed half of those vaccines at those types of sites. We're good at the distribution. Get us the supply, we'll get it done.
Governor Ducey, the Pima County Board of Supervisors voted 5-0 to go ahead and request that FEMA move forward and set up additional vaccine pods here, despite you guys rejecting their help. What are your thoughts on that? Are they able to do that, and how does that affect us?
Well, I'm not going to repeat my entire last answer. I'm going to say that we're going to continue to work with the federal government. I want to give the federal government a lot of credit for their success in working with the private sector in the production and distribution of the vaccine, and we're going to continue to work in concert to distribute the vaccine.
Thank you.
Hi, Governor. So Yuma County's population is heavily Hispanic, and I've been reporting about the lack of vaccines in San Luis, where a couple of weeks ago they haven't even vaccinated 1% of their population, as opposed to other counties like Gila County, where they were already vaccinating 18 years and older. So we know that the state pod is coming next Monday, but why did it take so long for you guys to consider a state pod in this area in Yuma?
Thank you, Sylvia. And I again want to emphasize that getting the vaccine out to all parts of our state, to all communities, to our underserved and our minority communities is a priority. So far, so good in Arizona, but obviously we have places where there is room for improvement. The vaccine starts out being distributed at the county level. The state has stepped up with these state-run facilities when we can do mass vaccination sites. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Christ so she can give you the update on what you can expect coming soon.
With the pod opening up in Pima County or in Yuma County, that's going to significantly increase the capacity and the throughput there. That will be a 7-day operating site. What we are looking at, though, is doing a similar targeted high-intensity communication strategy within community testing opportunities for those types of communities. We're working very closely with the Yuma County Health Department on that to get that, but what you will see high-intensity communications directly to those populations through text, through yard signs, through town halls, and then with the opportunities for testing, and that will be both in English and Spanish as well.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add on to that last question. One of the things that we've done working with the governor and with Dr. Christ was some time ago, we reached out to our rural health office here at the University of Arizona, where they already have those connections in all of the counties outside of Pima, to be able to offer our services to go to those communities that have a paucity of resources, that we'll work to bring teams out there as well and help to support all of their efforts. So as soon as the federal government will provide us with more vaccines, we're ready to go ahead and help the governor and Dr. Christ in that endeavor.
I have a follow-up.
Thanks, Dr. Carmona.
One second. A lot of people, a lot of agricultural workers who are essential workers in this county, how are you guys going to make sure that they get the vaccine? Are you guys going to do like mobile clinics, or do they need to go to the state pod? I don't know who can answer that question.
Go ahead.
So Pima County has been doing, or Yuma County has been doing a lot of outreach directly to our migrant farm workers and our agricultural companies. They have been offering both occupational-based, so employer-based vaccination strategies, as well as taking mobile clinics. The University of Arizona also has a mobile clinic that they've been going into those communities to vaccinate our migrant farm workers as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today, Governor. This question is for you. The Board of Supervisors here in Pima County is asking you to reconsider denying the FEMA site. So will you reconsider denying that?
Yes.
Why? And when could we maybe see that if it is reconsidered?
I just want to say my objective is to get the vaccine out. We've been working closely with the federal government. Dr. Christ has an idea of how to stand up these mass vaccination sites. Dr. Robbins and Dr. Carmona as well. We're going to stay focused on distributing the vaccine. I'm going to revisit this issue because the Board of Supervisors feels so strongly about it. But the objective is going to remain putting shots in arms.
If I could have a follow-up with Dr. Chris. So I have a letter here from FEMA sent to you by Tammy Luttrell, the acting regional administrator, and she says that really all of your hesitations for not having this FEMA site for vaccine supply integrity, oversight, and customer experience really just aren't true. So what was your reasoning for having those hesitations for the FEMA site, and have you reconsidered after interacting with her?
So we have a great partnership with Tammy and our FEMA partners. There were many concerns on why they felt that they couldn't just give us the vaccine, but that they needed to set up an entire site outside of our already state distribution. Some of those concerns we have heard voiced from other state counterparts who already have those FEMA existing sites in place. And there is a significant list of resources that the county, and if not the county, then the state would have to come up with, and that includes the cold chain storage, the pharmacy support, the vaccinator support, the communications, the registration system. There's a huge list of what the state has to provide in order to operate that. We already have a lot of that infrastructure in place, where all we would need to do is add a couple of hundred appointments to each hour, and we would be able to significantly increase the capacity if we just got the vaccine without having to add additional resources. It will take FEMA a while to mobilize as well, so by the time we start to get that vaccine, we could have gotten it out quicker through this than by the time they set up a site and get it running. I mean, we were surprised by the lack of demand last week. We're hoping that opening it up will continue the demand for several weeks, but by the time they got here and fully operating, we could have had already vaccinated huge numbers of people with that same vaccine.
Okay, let's go to Polly, Chantal, and then Tim from the Star. Thanks for both of y'all's time today. Appreciate it. I know you guys have both addressed this FEMA letter issue, and both of you have said that if you had the supply, you could stand up more appointments and such. FEMA says that they have an 8-week supply that they could bring to this site, so they have the supply. Is it frustrating at all, that it would go to this, their specific site rather than just giving it to the state now?
There's no turf war here. We're in the business of distributing the vaccine. Dr. Chris just took you through the sites that we already have standing up and the people and resources that we have that are on site. FEMA's not providing that. We need supply. We need vaccine. It's pretty simple. Get it to us and we'll get it in people's arms all over the state.
Well, it just sounds like they have that 8-week supply and they're
So
not
they should deliver it to the state.
Okay. And then also, obviously, Dr. Chris, you mentioned on Monday and again today that you were surprised that, there was kind of a lack of demand, 58,000 appointments available. Obviously there was a lot of demand today, no surprise there with how many more Arizonans were eligible. How do you see, as you go forward, being able to reach what we need, to get people vaccinated and hopefully see the end of this pandemic?
That's a great question because right now we've got about 50% or 55% of our state that wants the vaccine. They'll come and wait in these lines and get it, but we want to vaccinate more. So part of it is spreading it far and wide. It's building confidence that the system is convenient and that it works. I keep beating the drum that the vaccine is safe, it's effective, and it's free. President Biden's gotten the vaccine, President Trump's gotten the vaccine, Vice President Harris, Vice President Pence, Dr. Cara Christ, the coronavirus task force. I got my second vaccination today. So we only have 13% of our population, according to our focus work, that says, no, thank you. I will not receive the vaccine under any circumstances. So part of it is what you're seeing right now today. It's also been a little bit bumpy. While we had a lot of appointments available yesterday, today with the expansion of people available for the vaccine, there's no appointments available. So it depends on the days people are off, on weekends, on evenings. As we have more supply, we can run a 24/7 vaccination site for 24 hours, and we'll have many more people vaccinated. We're also working in our minority communities with the faith-based community. We also are told that if somebody hears from a subject matter expert, like a healthcare provider or a medical doctor, they're more inclined to make that decision. So all of those things through public service announcement and public education will have us getting more people vaccinated, whether it's in sites like this or us actually going in mobile settings, as Dr. Christ referred.
Hello, Governor. Last week at Douglas, you described the situation at the border with regard to migration as worse than it's been during your entire time as governor under 3 different presidents. Yet here, like in Tucson and in Douglas, where you were, in several other border towns, we just don't see that. We had a monastery teeming with people, up to 350 a day arriving. Now it's only like 80 a day at most. So on what do you base the concept that it's worse now than it's been throughout your governorship?
Arizona's southern border is broken. This is Joe Biden's border crisis. According to President Biden's own Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Mayorkas, these are the highest numbers in the past 20 years. So I'm going to stick with the data that we're getting from the federal government. We also, Tim, and you know this, never see numbers like this in February, in March. These numbers are 13,000 migrant children in custody, and migration continues from Central America and Mexico. So this is something that needs attention immediately. Yet the Biden administration has been anti-wall, and they have been AWOL, absent without leave, on this issue. Who couldn't see this crisis coming when the policies of the previous administration were reversed willy-nilly, and the signals that have been sent into Central America has got the cartels as taking advantage of these people and these families and incenting them to make this dangerous journey.
On the vaccines, a quick question for a colleague here. You obviously opened it up to 16-plus age group today, which allows for a huge demand of people of all ages trying to get the vaccine. What about the people who are in vulnerable categories, developmentally disabled, let's say Down syndrome, what have you, who were in that in-between, maybe the 1C category, or the in-between that hadn't yet, doesn't this make it harder for these other vulnerable populations who never actually got a priority chance to now get vaccines? And that could be for either of you.
Yes, we want all our vulnerable populations to have access to the vaccine. What we saw in terms of the slack or availability that we had in scheduling was something that allowed us to make this decision to expand to more of the general public in concert with the fact that we know that we've got more supply coming from the federal government. So it's not the same amount or number of appointments that we've had in weeks past. Those are expanding as well. That's what will allow these vulnerable populations to receive the vaccination.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here. My question is, following this topic, did you receive the declaration of emergency from Gila Bend? And if so, what's the plan going forward?
Are you talking about a health emergency or a border emergency?
Border emergency.
When did the order come in?
Come again?
I guess I'm not understanding the question.
Oh, Telemundo we're doing a special about the border, and one of my coworkers went to Gila Bend, and the mayor, he says he declared the state of emergency in the area because of the people who's crossing over there. So I don't know if you receive. Well, my question would be: did you receive a Gila Bend state of emergency request, or?
I've got to check with my team.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, thank you for taking the time. My question is actually about asylum seekers. So as we see the end of the eviction moratorium that provides emergency housing and hotel rooms, is there anything that the state plans to do to try to help out NGOs and asylum seekers as we see this influx of migrants?
Well, the first thing I want to say is, first and foremost, the federal government and the Biden administration can address the policies that has caused this surge of migration at the borders. I've said we need three things. First and foremost is resources. These NGOs do need help. Second, we need clear communication from the Biden administration that the border is not wide open and there are not rooms available in America. And third, we need testing. The virus is still with us. It's spreading. It's certainly spreading in these close quarters of these communities, and people are being infected, infecting others as they're transported. So resources are part of the solution here.
And a follow-up question. I'm going to double back on that FEMA issue.
I don't have anything to add. There's nothing to add on that.
So Dr. Christ had said that they wouldn't be prepared, FEMA County wouldn't be prepared, their vaccination
You can quote her on that.
wouldn't be prepared.
You can quote her on that.
But FEMA County has said that they would be prepared. They already have vaccination sites ready to take the vaccine. So is there any response to that?
Thank you for the information.
Hello, my question's for Dr. Christ primarily. I'm wondering regarding the FEMA vaccination site, are you saying you'd rather have that about 300,000 doses FEMA says it would be able to provide? Are you saying you'd rather have that given to the state for the state to distribute, given that FEMA says it's prepared to set up its own site and provide some of the resources it has available?
So we would prefer to get those doses to be distributed at the state sites. We have highly efficient national models as our state sites. We can add hundreds of appointments per hour and get the 300,000 doses distributed very quickly.
Okay, and then for Governor Ducey, the Board of Supervisors this morning discussed if the state does again not consider that FEMA site, that they would potentially go over the state's head and kind of meet with their congressional delegation to see if they could sponsor it on its own. So I'm wondering, what would the state's response be if Pima County were to do that?
Well, the state's going to focus on vaccine distribution. Like I said, we're not going to play at any games. We're partnering with the federal government and with county governments to get this done.
Thank you.
To that question, if you look out here on this mall, and you look at that group right over there, that's the incident command system. The reason we can do 3,000 a day is because it's taken a long time to get up to the supply chain and the links with the state to get the vaccines and get the needles in the arms. Just dumping vaccine at any particular place where you're not assured that there's an infrastructure is really a design for failure. This has taken a long time with these individuals who work 7/24 to be able to get to this level of efficiency that by the time you come in and you're out, even with observation, it's less than a half an hour. And that's amazing. And yet they haven't rested on their laurels, because every day they're talking about even doing it faster and better. So think about if those thousands of vaccines just ended up at their location without a team like this that understands the logistics and how to increase the throughput. It would be a failure. Those are some of the challenges that we're facing, and I think it's germane to the question you asked, because we speak with Dr. Christ and the governor on a regular basis, and we want more vaccines because right over there, Chris Kopek is our incident commander right now. We know that we can double or even triple our vaccine if we can get the vaccines. We're not working 7/24 now because we don't have enough vaccines. Through the governor and Dr. Christ, if we can get more vaccines, we have an infrastructure that they can rely on, that's predictable, that's uniform, that has performed. And that's really why we are questioning, because we have a lot of people saying, why don't you try this and try that? We understand how difficult it is to actually get a needle into somebody's arm. In fact, I think, Chris, you mentioned, how many people does it take to get one vaccine into an arm when we look at the entire throughput and the supply chain? Thank you, Chris. And I just wanted you all to see that it seems deceivingly simple, but anonymously behind every injection are these volunteers working 24 hours a day to make sure that it's done efficiently.
Thanks, Dr. Carmona. And yes, Steve, thank you. And they're doing a great job. We just need more vaccine. CJ?
Governor, we're hearing that the Biden administration has picked a point person to handle relations with Central America on the immigration issue, Vice President Harris. I understand you've got some feelings about that. What's your feeling about that choice?
Well, I have been informed that Vice President Kamala Harris has been put in charge of border security. She's about the worst possible choice that one could make. In no point in her career has she given any indication that she considers the border a problem or a serious threat. If President Biden's intent was to show that he's taking this issue seriously, he's really done the exact opposite here. He's completely trivialized this issue by putting someone in charge who flat out just doesn't care.
But Governor, isn't it rather common for a president to appoint a vice president as the point person on high-profile issues?
It should be someone who's got some experience or some passion about the issue if they intend to have success. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.